Kayla here today, and I am sharing the last of the classes I had, and this one is using Bella and Friends. You can still buy this kit if you want. I am happy to ship the supplies for the kit. It's $50, or you can buy it with the Pretty Kitty class for $100, and you get a free stamp set and a free class for the Love You Lots, which can all be seen on my YouTube channel. So starting off, I'm going to do the Mint Macaron card with the Mint Macaron cardstock, obviously. And I'm sorry that it's going out of focus a little bit. I'm having some problems with my autofocus on my camera for some reason, so I may have to adjust that a little bit. But I'm just using the watercolour wash stamp set. Now, my suggestion to you is, if you do get these clear mount stamps, is don't put the sticker on. I found they cling a lot better without the sticker, so I'm fine to use them like that. But yeah, I love this stamp because it's so easy to create really quick backgrounds. Something I do notice is that it looks a bit splotchy when you first stamp it, but it does sort of settle in and look really nice once you've given it a few minutes. So I stamped that in Smoky Slate, and now I'm going to work on my little puppy dog, which I'm just using the one where he's got a bone in his mouth, and I'm stamping that onto some watercolour cardstock in basic black. Now, do remember this is archival ink, so it's best to stamp your dog and then let it sit for a bit, because it does take longer to dry than the other inks that are water-based. So that's just my one tip there. So I've stamped my doggy, and then I'm pretty sure that I did a few other things before I coloured him in. So now I'm just adhering him to the scalloped circle. I did muck up here, and I think I used the wrong circle, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. It just means it's got a lot less scallop, so just be aware of that. I'm making the mistakes for you. Now, I'm using another trendy little tool I have here, which is the Tag Punch. Now, I can't remember the actual name, correct name of that. And I don't have my catalogue in front of me, but you can do that with your scissors if you don't have the Tag Punch. You just snip in the middle and then snip in to meet your middle. Now, I have sewn around that off camera, just so that's an additional step that you can do if you have a sewing machine. I love sewing. I love the texture it adds to my cards. So, but you absolutely don't have to do that. You could also ink around the edges with some black or some brown ink. It's up to you. Now, I'm just adding a knot into the Mint Macaron striped ribbon, and I'm just snipping some off the edge. And what I'm going to do is put some tape down, and just that's just some tear tape, and I'm going to adhere that and then ruffle it up a little bit. So now, as you can see, I'm just adjusting the tape so that you can't see it behind that ribbon there, and I'm going to ruche that up a little bit. So we've got some, you just have to work with it, basically. No cards are going to be the same. You're going to end up with a unique card, but that's the way I like it. So that's all done, and now I'm just going to put the pop dots, the dimensionals, behind my little doggy there, and he's going to go on top of that ribbon. So cute. And then, see, as you can see, I'm just like doing everything I can on the card before I colour in my dog, because I want the ink not to run, especially when you're using the blender pen. As you can see, it's a bit fiddly. I think I ended up keeping that bit straight and just added some more tape. So it's all up to interpretation and how you would like your card to look. You could even just lay the ribbon flat. You don't have to do what I did. That's completely up to you. Now I'm just snipping off the excess, and that is the final result there. And I'm going to tie a bow with some of the linen thread. Now remember, that does have kinks in it because it's wrapped around a card. So if you want to get those kinks out, just run it between your thumb and forefinger a couple of times, and that will get the kinks out. And now I just fiddle around with my bow and pop that on. I just use some Scotch quick dry adhesive, but the fine tip glue pen or even a glue dot from Stampin' Up would work fantastic for that. It's all up to you. Now I'm going to colour in my dog. So I've got the Smoky Slate and the blender pen. Now I'm going to start from the outside and work my way in. As you can see on the left hand side, the dog's darker in some spots, and that's the way I like it, because you don't often see like, it's not going to be a solid colour. I like the way this looks, leaving some bits with barely any colour and then putting more colour in some other sections. These blender pens are absolutely fantastic and definitely something that you should invest in if you're going to be doing a lot of stamping and colouring images, because they make colouring so easy. And yeah, I've just been loving working with them. I love that I can just, I mean, I have all the ink pads in the collection, but I love that I can just pull them out and colour my images whatever colour, and I've just got the blender pen to blend and work my way out with them. Now, when you change colours, just remember to clean your brush by getting a piece of scrap paper and brushing it out until the colour goes clear. Now I'm adding some, just trying to think of what colour that is. It's been a little bit since I recorded this, so I don't actually know. It's crumb cake. So I've added crumb cake for the bone, and now some real red for that gorgeous little heart hanging off her or his collar. Now I'm not sure what colour I did the collar. Looks like mint macaron. So you can colour your dog whatever colour. You don't even have to use smoky slate to colour your doggy. You can do any colour you like. Now I'm adding some rhinestones just to finish it off. So I usually do them in 3s, but for some reason on the left hand side there's 2. So maybe, yeah, I did add 3. I was going to say I usually do everything in 3s. Now that's the mint macaron card done. And so now I'm going to do the next one, which is using Dapper Denim and those gorgeous fringe scissors. Of course, you can do that with normal scissors just by snipping, say, every, I don't even know, that would be 1/4 centimetre maybe. But yeah, I just love the way that works out, and the fringe scissors make it so easy. So I think they're about $17 from memory, I think. I may be giving you the totally incorrect. I could probably look it up for you. They're very cool. They were actually one of the first things I bought when I joined Stampin' Up. So I'll just type it in and see how much they are. Now I stamped my little birdie and my phrase. I actually used the wrong watercolour piece. So I think this watercolour piece was designed for the dog beforehand. That's why the scallops were too small. I just worked it out. So that's fine. We're just working with a smaller area. That's totally fine. There's never a mistake. It's all about creativity. Let's see. What would it be under? Tools? No. Paper cutting maybe. This looks like it. So the fringe scissors are $17. Yes, I was correct. Now I'm colouring in with the gorgeous Cucumber Crush. I love the bright colour of this green. And adding some darker bits. Now I'm going to change colours. Now I'm pretty sure I use Peekaboo Peach for the beak. And some real red for the gorgeous heart. I would love to see your projects. If you do anything based on these or just anything Stampin' Up in general, feel free to send me a link because I would love to see what you've been creating. I'm always trawling Pinterest and Instagram and all sorts of places to see what everyone's up to, so I would love to see your projects. Now I'm going to add one of these gorgeous bow clips, which was a bit harder because I had a smaller circle, but it all worked out well in the end. And now I'm just adding some tape, and the reason for that is I'm going to use that to stick down some of this gorgeous gold sequin trim. And then from there I'm going to add some dimensionals, and that is going to be popped up on a doily. These doilies are fantastic, and I think they come in a pack of 20 or 24. They're super cool. Let's see. I'm not sure. I always think that I go to the wrong area of the website when I'm looking for them. So I'll have a look. I think they're in Paper Basics for some reason. So they're $5.25 and you get 24. So it's a really good price for those. Now, as you can see, I'm using the fringe scissors and I'm cutting. See how easy that is? I'm just cutting along and it creates super easy and quick fringes. So I've picked 3 different designs of the Designer Series paper from the Affectionately Yours DSP set. Now, these come in the kit, so you get everything you need. There's not anything that the only thing you have to provide is adhesive, and if you don't already have it, I mean, there's a few things like the fringe scissors and the watercolor wash stamp that I've used, but you can always interpret your own thing for those if you don't want to purchase them. Now, I'm just using some tape to stick those bits of fringe along the card and using my snips to snip those off at the edges. I absolutely love that bottom designer paper. It's got copper foiling on it. It's just stunning. And I'm adding the last Designer Series paper. I think I just evened that up at the end there so it wasn't looking so messy. And now I'm going to finish with some of this mint macaron striped ribbon just to create a neat finish on the top there. I love how that creates a nice finished edge. I think I want to actually case my own card because I love the way that this one turned out. I think I'd do maybe something a bit different with the doily, but I think I love the way the fringe and that ribbon looks. Now I added a bit too much glue here, so I just got a bit of scrap and moved that along because you don't want your card to have too much glue. So that's the second card done. See how easy that was? Super easy. Now I'm moving on to the last card, which is my favourite, but is probably more fiddly than the rest. So I've pre-cut this piece for you guys if you purchase the kit, which is just a bit small on the card but has a circle cut out of the centre, and that's because we're creating a shaker card. So I'm going to stamp my little doggy first so he has time to dry. This one I'm going to have to do some fussy cutting, but that's fine. And cleaning my stamp straight away so that I don't have to worry about that later on. And now I'm stamping out my sentiment, which is You've Got a Friend in Me. I absolutely love that song. I cannot stamp this without wanting to sing that song. Oh, sorry, you get my nasty red hair. I think I noticed that it was a bit crooked, so I ended up stamping it again. And that's stamped in Crumb Cake. The Stampin' Scrub makes cleaning your stamps so easy. I absolutely love that I invested the $30 into getting that because it's just made it so much easier, and I will be honest, I'm pretty lazy when it comes to cleaning my stamps, but now that I've got that, I just have it on my desk and I clean them straight away and they go straight back in their case. It's so easy and you don't even have to think about it. So now I'm just going to fussy cut my little doggy. It's a bit ruffled on the edges because of his scruffy hair, or fur. I don't really have hair, but I'm just cutting my way around that as close as I can. I wish everything came with thin cuts or punches. It would make life so easy, wouldn't it? But I just love this set. Now I'm just going to tie my thread bow, my linen thread. I have so many packs of this. I was cleaning out my stuff this morning actually and putting things in containers because my Stampin' Up stuff is everywhere at the moment. And I realised I have 3 unopened packs of linen thread. I think I add one to every order that I do because I just love it so much. I love the natural look it gives, and it's not in your face, so I love it because I can tie it in bows, I can wrap it around things, and it's just a really great essential item I think to have. So now I'm colouring in my doggy with the crumb cake, and as usual starting at the edges and working my way inwards. This is sped up a little bit, so it probably makes my colouring super easy and simple, but I do take longer than what it actually looks like on camera. And if I wasn't filming, I'd probably take ages, to be honest. I think on the face I may have pulled a little tiny bit of the black in because it wasn't quite dry, so that's something to be aware of. If you have the time, just make sure you sit your doggy aside and let him dry for as long as you can, because it is using archival ink, so it does take that little bit longer to dry. So now I'm done with the colouring and I have all my pieces together. I just have to put together my shaker card components. That's another thing to remember as well. When you're colouring your dog, try not to use the blender pen too much. Like, don't go over where you've already coloured too much, because the paper will peel, particularly if you're using just plain cardstock. If it's using watercolour cardstock or the shimmer paper, it has a bit more tolerance for some wet mediums, but normal paper doesn't, so that's something to be aware of. Now I'm probably sewing the edges of my design series paper there off camera because my sewing machine is just too big to sit on the desk. So that's what I would be doing right now that you can't see. I absolutely love stitching. You don't have to do it. It's not necessary at all, but I love the little touch that it adds and makes your card look a little bit more homemade. And as you can see beside the dog, I've got some acetate, which is the window sheets. You can get it for $8.75 for a pack of 2 12x12 sheets, and that's enough to make quite a few shaker cards. So I've got that there and having fun making shaker cards. I actually made a new one yesterday using the Foxy Friends stamp set, and I'm totally in love with it. So now you can see I've pulled my stitching through and I'm adding a sheet of acetate, and now I've got these, which are fantastic. These are the foam adhesive strips, and you'll see why they're so cool, because I'm just using them to simply trace my way around that circle cutout, which is going to be my shaker. So I'm just snipping that and adding it. Now I'll pull that off, and the tip from me right here is that when you're going to make your shaker, powder the edges. Now the reason for that is so your sequins do not stick to the edges. I forgot to do it yesterday with my shaker, and the sequins are sticking to the edges of that shaker. So it's really important to do that bit, and I've just used my finger to grab the powder off, and I'm actually adding powder to the backing piece too. The reason for that is it removes the static from the plastic, because it's quite staticky, and the sequins will just stick to it, and you don't want that. You want them to shake around the pocket, so that's really important. Now I'm just adding some foam adhesive, and then I'm grabbing my sequins. These are the neutral sequins, really cute, and I'm just adding a few pinchfuls of those to my shaker, and then I'm going to pop the other piece on top and then pull my strips off, and I'll be able to stick that to my card base. How cool would it be to receive one of these cards in the mail? Especially if people know that you've handmade it. I think that's so special. So now, as you can see, we've got a shaker card done, and I'm going to stick my sentiment right over the top of that. And then I think I'm just using the liquid glue for that. And then I can't positively remember, but I'm pretty sure the dog is on 3D foam. So I have to use some dimensionals here. Just 2, I think. Oh, 3. Just to pop him up next to the sentiment. And then I'm going to add my thread bow. The linen thread is really easy to manipulate with your fingers. You can like change the shape of it quite easily. So I love that you can do that. It makes it super easy to work with. And now I just have to hold that in place for a few seconds just till the glue gets tacky, and then it will hold in place. Now I'm adding some rhinestones to finish this card off. So as per usual, I'm using 3 rhinestones. And then the card is done. So as you can see, it's got a really cute shaker component. And that is my 3 cards done. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you've enjoyed this class. Follow the links below to my shop and see how to sign up. Thanks for watching. Bye!